Now we will zero in on how we dealt with those schools that were low performing. One of the strategies was called the Ontario Focused Intervention Partnership, OFIP. So when I mention OFIP, you will know that that was a strategy to deal with low performing schools. At first we identified about 300 to 400 schools in which only a third of the students were achieving the provincial target. And we then had a very intensive program led by our student achievement officers from the ministry who went into schools and helped them with their improvement. There were some non-negotiables at that time. For example, every school had to have an uninterrupted period or blocks of time for literacy and numeracy. They had to have common assessment tools. They had to have leadership development within their areas. And they also had to have various strategies around assessment for learning. And they had to operate as a professional learning community with all the important characteristics of what a PLC is. Focused on student learning. Teachers were identifying the students who needed special interventions. They were themselves talking about instructional practices that work. They were helping one another and finding ways to learn with and from their colleagues, and all that we know that a good PLC looks like. It took us some time to get to that stage, because in some places initially it was just a social event, but we really kicked it up a notch to mean really inquiry-based interactions among teachers in a school so that the entire school would be moving together. The OFIP program was very successful. After 1 year, all the schools in that program had improved at an average of 10 percentage points, some many more than that. So we found that putting the spotlight on those schools, not with a shame or blame philosophy, but with a capacity building approach, really did help them to improve. Of course, there are many other initiatives that we had, like a self-assessment, school self-evaluation program, which really helped to focus on professional accountability. We had, the target setting was very important and very challenging at first, because some schools did not want to set targets. But there was no choice. It's a matter of how were we going to help them to set those targets. What happened as well, some people were setting what I call negative targets. In other words, they would say, last year we wanted to get to a target of 50%. This year is 48. Of course, by monitoring those 4,000 schools, we were able to make sure that they set targets and had the school plans reflect those targets with very clear strategies around how they would achieve their targets. So there were a number of sessions around how to set SMART goals as a part of the professional development for teachers and principals.